Hey guys, Rob Vino here, wagertalk.com. Going to take a look at the big game breakdown for today. Houston Rockets at the Oklahoma City Thunder. Big game for both sides. Obviously, Houston making a push for that 10th and final play-in seed in the Western Conference. Golden State did win last night, pushed them a half a game further out, but the Rockets with a chance to climb back tonight with Golden State also on tap on the schedule. Oklahoma City, big win last night against the New Orleans Pelicans down in New Orleans. No Brandon Ingram, but still a big win for OKC, which is making a push for the number one seed. They had it at one point in the Western Conference. Denver passed them out, but OKC wins last night to stay within a game. First glance, you would probably look at the rest factor, the scheduling here, and look at the Houston Rockets. But some of these against the spread numbers are just undeniable in the case of Oklahoma City. And we're going to take a look for purposes of the big game breakdown today at Oklahoma City in the first half. But let's go through some numbers here. OKC, first half against the spread at home this year, 21-14 first half record. That's tied for fourth best in the NBA. The Houston Rockets, first half against the spread away from home this year, 10-23 point spread wise. That's the second worst in the NBA. So huge disparity there in favor of the Oklahoma City Thunder. Houston, when you just go through their overall season schedule, you can see the difference between home results and road results. Just hasn't been the same on the road for the Rockets, despite the fact that they're on this huge run as of late. Oklahoma City, home point spread numbers this year. Obviously a good straight up team, 28-7, but the point spread numbers are good too, 22-13 against the spread. Average winning margin for OKC, 11.4 points per game. As home favorites, that number goes up to plus 14.4. In back-to-back situations, like they're in tonight, their average winning margin at home is 15.9, almost 16 points. So fatigue doesn't really bother the OKC Thunder. It's a deep squad, a lot of young legs. They seem to come through just fine in back-to-back situations. And if you put them in back-to-back with travel, which is what they're on tonight from New Orleans back to Oklahoma City, that margin of victory or differential goes up to plus 23.3. They're beating teams 122.3 to 99 in those instances. So really a good team in the second of back-to-backs. I think for Oklahoma City, one concern would be the status of Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. SGA, according to head coach Mark Dagnall, is banged up at this time, and they're monitoring him. He got some minutes last night, starters minutes. I think it was 38. Would expect him to go here, though. I don't know exactly what monitoring it means. I don't think it means he's going to be on the bench here in an important game tonight. They may try to get him in and out, maybe somewhere in the 30-plus minutes, which leads me again back to first half here in this particular game. OKC fast starters at home. Houston Rockets slow starters on the road. These teams have played three times so far this year, and Houston, for all their pace and for all their offense, has not exceeded 110 points in any game against Oklahoma City so far this season. They've been on a real offensive tear and on a high tempo style of play for the last, I don't know, maybe 30 games or so. But it doesn't seem to dent the Oklahoma City defense. They played back-to-backs back in February 25th and 27th, and Houston still couldn't do much damage with their offense. I think for purposes of this play, Oklahoma City needs to win. I think they'll try and get out quickly here. Obviously, ATS numbers indicate that they've done that all season long, and Houston's done the opposite. The number is only 3.5 for the first half. So we're going to take a try with that here tonight. Oklahoma City first half against the Houston Rockets, minus 3.5. If the game tightens up or if the game starts to sway in Houston's favor, I would figure that to happen in the second half. So one more time, big game breakdown tonight. Oklahoma City, first half, minus 3.5 over Houston. Today's best bet on the NBA card, we're going to take a look at Golden State at Orlando. Again, like the big game breakdown, another situation where we have back-to-backs here, Golden State being the team on back-to-backs. And the scheduling situation here certainly favors the Orlando Magic. Golden State coming from Miami last night. Not a long trip, obviously, Miami to Orlando, but still it's the second of a back-to-back for that team. While Orlando has had 3 days off in between games, and they do come in off of an extremely rare home loss the other night to Sacramento. So for the Orlando Magic, a really good scheduling situation in this spot. Golden State, you have to be a little careful here because they have been good in second of back-to-backs with travel. They're 5-1 against the spread. It's a rare situation here where the home team does have 3 days off, a little different than the other 6 times Golden State has been in on a back-to-back with travel, but still, they've been pretty good here. So it's a little bit tricky, but still favor Orlando in this scheduling spot. As always, with Orlando, I've said it time and time again here on the NBA Tip-Off Show, I always look to the front court matchup with this team. They're front court heavy. They're predicated on the success of their front court, the back court, a little more defensive oriented. In this matchup, Orlando's got a real favorable matchup up front. When you're starting Draymond Green, you go small the way that Golden State does with him at center. The front court of Orlando, led by Paolo, Banchero, Wendell Carter Jr. and company, certainly should have a great advantage on the boards here tonight, certainly should have a great advantage in second chance opportunities, and also would expect Orlando to have the advantage in dictating tempo on their home floor. Golden State wants to play 94-foot basketball up and down the floor. Orlando wants to play methodical basketball, walk it up, set up, and on the other end, get their defense set up. So again, I think there's a couple advantages there, sizable ones for the Orlando Magic. Now let's get into some technical trends here. And again, I rattled off some pretty impressive Oklahoma City Thunder home against the spread numbers. Orlando's got them too. And I mean, I was a little bit surprised when I checked these numbers this morning. It's a team that's 25-9 straight up at home. We get that. They've been a good team all season long, but they are 24-10 against the spread this season. They're a 70.6% cover at home. Average margin plus 12.6 points per game. These are not flukes. Orlando's winning by margin at home. Have to win by a little margin here tonight, laying 3.5. As a home favorite, Orlando this season is 17-3 straight up, 16-4 against the spread. They're an 80% cover as a home favorite. You don't necessarily correlate the Orlando Magic and their pedestrian style of play as a good home favorite, but boy, they've been that so far this season. If you've backed them all year long, blindly, mechanically, once again, you've covered 80% of the time in this situation. Their average margin in those instances is a home favorite, plus 12.8 per game, holding opponents to 103 per contest. I close it out with this. There's a quote from Wendell Carter Jr., and again, we've talked a lot the last, I would say, 7 to 10 days about these playoff seedings and how important they are to some squads. How about Wendell Carter Jr. letting us know exactly what Orlando is looking at right now? He said, for a lot of us being our first time in the playoffs, I think it's going to be super important that we have home court advantage. The fans have shown what they're capable of. They've had this place rocking, so it just gives us even more drive to have some home court advantage. Now, for the Magic, right now they sit number 5 in the Eastern Conference seedings. They're trying to chase down the New York Knicks, who have that number 4 and final home court slot for first round action. They're only one game behind the Knicks. To me, Orlando's a motivated, focused, determined team. And I'm not saying Golden State isn't, because certainly they're trying to hang on to that 10 seed as well in the Western Conference just to get a play in while Houston chases them down. But I like Orlando here, like the scheduling situation, like the fundamental matchups here, like their ability to dictate tempo. Love the fact that they've been dominant at home against the spread all season long, even in a favorites role. And like the motivational angle here with Wendell Carter, letting us know that this team is focused on getting a home court, at least one round of home court advantage in the NBA playoffs. So once again, best bet for today going to be Orlando minus the 3.5 over Golden State. Real quickly, for those of you who are interested in college basketball here tonight, 4% play up there. Not in NCAA action, but in smaller conference tournament action. You can find it on my homepage off of a perfect 4-0 last night. So good time to get involved. Once again, 4%er from college hoop tonight. Check out my homepage at wagertalk.com.